Next piece we will be doing is animating our meteors so that they're spinning in space. So the nice thing about collecting fusion is built-in tools that allow us to kind of simulate the idea of animation without actually having to redraw each frame. So keep that in mind. We're going to be using the rotating features. So open the meteor large object in the image editor. So if you remember correctly, the image editor is when you double click on it, it opens up in something called the image editor, so you can change the look of the image. And then right click on frame 1 and click rotation in the shortcut menu and make a one turn rotation dialog box is displayed, shown as figure 13.4. So figure 13.4 is right here. And so it should look something like this. So right here, we're going to be right click on frame 1, click rotation, and make one turn. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that first. So come back here. Right click on frame 1. So we have all kinds of stuff here, but frame 1 is right here. Right click, and we're going to be doing a rotation. And then it says make one turn rotation. So this is the dialog box that popped up. So dialogue usually means communication, conversation. This is the box that popped up called a dialog box. So let's come back, figure out what we do with it. It says in the number of frames in the text box, enter the 15, and it will create 14 new frames. So there's already one, so 14 more. And then counting the original frame, there will be a total of 15. Click on the clockwise radio button. This will set the rotation to spin in the direction which the hands of a clock rotate, and the clockwise from the top to the right. Counterclockwise is the opposite of that. So we know that. So we're going to be doing clockwise 15. So let's come back here. Number of frames, we wanted 15. And we want clockwise. It doesn't say press OK yet, but I believe that's coming next. Yep. Click the OK button. Notice that the meteor rotates a bit on each frame, and click on the play button on the right side to make sure and see that it works. After that, we're going to be closing the preview, and then click on the direction options, which we'll get at in a moment. So come back here and press OK. Notice how there's now 15 frames. Each of them looks slightly rotated. If I press play, there's my animated rotation. Okay. Next, it says click on the direction options tab on the bottom of the image editor. Click in the speed text box and enter 5. So direction options, speed, let's enter 5. And it was a result in the meteor spinning slowly. Check the loop text box so that it keeps going around, doesn't just do it once and then stop. So we want it to loop. This will keep the meteor spinning, and then press OK. And then we're going to do the exact same thing to meteor M and meteor S. But the only difference will be the number of frames and the animation speed. So I'm going to let you do that on your own because I'd like you to take some of the responsibility of what you're learning and doing. And I'm going to first just show you, make sure that you understand the loop feature. So direction frames, I chose speed 5 because that's what the book said. I'm going to press loop, and which means it'll go back, and then I press play just to make sure it is doing, there it is. A little bit slower this time, and it continues to spin. So I press OK. So I just did it to the meteor large. I'd like you to do the exact same thing to meteor M and meteor S. But the way that you need to do it is by making sure that you use number of frames 10 and speed 10 for the medium, and number of frames 8 and speed 8 for the small. So keep that in mind. They're not going to be exactly the same, but I'm going to have you do that on your own. So please go do that now. All right, so hopefully you did that. One thing that I want to be careful on and make sure that all of them are spinning clockwise. So one of the biggest things I've noticed people have done is they make them go spin in the opposite direction. So make sure all of yours are spinning clockwise. So anyway, let's keep going to the next piece. All right, so now we're going to creating what are called photon objects, which are kind of like the little guns that will be shot from the UFO. So the game specifications require photon objects to be used to destroy the meteors. They're going to be animated to disappear as they travel. So it'll travel and then stop. So we're going to be doing, we're going to be using Click Team Fusion to help us do those automatically. So insert a new active object and name it photon. If you're like, I don't know how to spell that. What I'm actually going to do is take my design book and keep it over here a little bit smaller. That way I can work on both at the same time. And you can see what I'm working on. So first, once again, in my game frame, I'm going to insert a new object in here. So insert, new object, an active object, and I'm going to be naming it photon. So right click on it to rename, call it photon. Did I spelled that correctly? P-H-O-T-O-N, P-H-O-T-O-N. There it is. There's my photon. And then I'm going to open it up. So double click, clear the canvas. Once again, make this on the right-hand side. So there's my photon. So far, I haven't done anything. Change the foreground color to a shade of yellow of your choice. So you can choose any color you'd like. I'm going to do a nice bright yellow. That's too yellow or too white. There we go. Actually, I like this one better. All right, so I'm going to choose that yellow. And once again, feel free to choose different colors if you'd like. Change it to a shade of yellow of your choice. Applying what you've learned, draw an outline of a circle that is 1 pixel thick, so the circle is the size of the canvas. Tip, hold down the shift key as you draw to create a perfect circle, undo and try again if needed. So what you're going to be doing is draw the outline of a circle. So we need our circle tool, and we have some options. Remember, filled, outlined, and outline filled. And this is where I had some trouble last time because I think mine are, for some reason, backwards. I don't know why. This one should be outlined. This one should be filled, because you'll notice this one's an outline. And even if I did draw it, you'll notice this is an outline, even though it says filled. And this one says outlined, even though it's filled. So I'm going to undo both of those. But we need, and I'm not sure if yours are backwards or not. So you need to do the one that is correct. So I'm going to be doing the outline of a circle that is 1 pixel thick. So currently I have my size 1 pixel. I'm going to be choosing my outline, which is this looking one. And then I'm going to be creating the entire size of the box. The way that you do that is put your mouse all the way at the top here. And if you hold shift while you're doing it, so I'm holding shift on my keyboard and I draw, what happens is I need to choose yellow again. And my circle will be the whole size of my box. There we go. There it is. So there's my outline. The circle is 1 pixel thick, and then hold down the shift key. I did that to create a perfect circle. Undo and try again if needed. So if you need to redo that, you can clear the frame, or you can just do it that way. Okay. Change the foreground color to a shade of red of your choice. So I'm going to choose red. And applying what you've learned, fill the yellow outline with red. So I'm going to be using the fill tool, and I'm going to choose right there. So now I've changed the background or the outline to yellow, and now I have a foreground of red. Now fill the yellow outline with red. Did that. Now right click on frame 1 and click zoom in the shortcut menu. So frame 1's right here. Right click and press zoom. And then what's going to happen? Let's see. Change the foreground color. Let's see. Zoom, and then the insert resized frames dialog box is displayed, showed in figure 13.5. So it will look like this: insert resized frames. Click on the final width text box, enter 0. So final width, enter 0. Keep losing my spot. Final width, enter 0, and the final height automatically changes to 1. Click on the number of frames and enter 20. Click on the OK button to create the animation frames. So you'll notice that as I scroll down, so frame 1 is the largest, and then it scrolls all the way down to frame 21, which is the smallest little guy there. So it sizes it down for me. Press the OK button to create the animation frames and preview the animation. So there it goes. Notice how the object gradually reduces in size until it almost disappears, which is what we just saw. Playing we've learned, change the speed to 30. I'll speed it up a little bit and then press the OK button. So let's change the speed to 30. And we don't want to loop this time because we want my photon to be shot to small and then stop. I don't want it to continue getting bigger again. So there we go. There's my photon object. There it is. Okay, next you're going to be working on something called a play character, and I actually want you to do this on your own. So I'm not going to create a video on how to create the avatar for the player. I'd like you to find this page in your book. So this is under, once again, chapter 12, and if you're, I'm looking for a page number. I don't know where the page number is. Here it is, 158. So find page 158 in your book, and you're going to follow steps 51 all the way through 59 all by yourself. And I'd like you to create your own player character. Okay, so go ahead and pause this video and go all the way through 59 on your own, creating your own player character UFO deal. That way it looks a little bit different than mine, and you have some opportunity to do something on your own without me.